We're ready. Wait. Yeah.
Call to order the meeting, Planning Commission of the City of Simi Valley, July 24th, 2024, 6:30. If I can get everyone to rise. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Rice,
Here.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Here.
Commissioner Tolson,
Here.
Vice Chairperson Mayor,
Here.
Chairperson Mann.
Here. I have a motion to approve the agenda, please.
Move to approve the agenda. Second.
Commissioner Rice made the motion. Commissioner Tolson, second. By consensus, do we have approval of the agenda? Okay, so moved. Do I have an approval for the minutes, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Vice Chair Mayor,
I'll second.
second Commissioner Kennedy. By consensus, any changes or adjustments on the minutes? Okay, so approved. Will the secretary please read the declaration of conflict?
If any member of the Planning Commission may have a conflict of interest or any reason why that member must abstain from consideration of any matter on this agenda, he or she should so declare at this time.
Are there any declarations of conflict? Okay, moving along. Public statements. This is the time allotted for public statements or comments for all items other than the public hearing item. Is there anybody in the chamber wishing to be heard on any item not on the agenda? Okay. Correspondence. Is there any correspondence from the Deputy Director, City Planner?
Chairman Mann, no correspondence.
And I have no continued business, which brings us to public hearings. This is the time and place set forth for the public hearing on the consideration of PD-S-2024-0002 and TT-2024-0001. Are there any ex parte communications to report? Hearing none, may we have an oral report on this matter by staff?
Yes, Chairman Mann, members of the Planning Commission. Yeah, this is a request for a modification to the plan development permit, and it's also an update to the tentative track map for what's known as the Lost Canyons project, north of Lost Canyons Drive, west of Tapple Canyon Road. As you may know, the master plan development is an approved project, and tonight's request is essentially a minor modification to the layout of some of the housing units. Tonight's presentation will be provided by Senior Planner Elizabeth Richardson.
Good evening. Tonight we will be reviewing a request for a plan development permit modification and a tentative tract map for the relocation and minor adjustment to 78 lots approved as part of the Lost Canyon specific plan. The Whiteface specific plan includes both Lost Canyons and Big Sky developments. The Whiteface specific plan was originally adopted in 1992 and was amended for the Lost Canyons project in 2011 when Volume 2 of the specific plan was adopted and the EIR was certified. In August of 2013, the City Council approved tentative map and plan development permit to subdivide the 1,770-acre site to create open space, residential and commercial recreation zoned lots, grading for building pads and construction of streets, common areas, and other infrastructure improvements. In September of 2020, a cluster development permit was approved by the Planning Commission for house siting and architecture of 184 lots. The cluster development permit approved in 2020 focused on the construction of 184 homes in the area north of Lost Canyons Drive. A cluster development permit allows the homes to have variable front, side, and rear yard setbacks, and the cluster development permit also preserves large open space areas and minimizes grading. And this exhibit on the screen, this is the exhibit from that cluster development permit showing the areas where development was approved for. The Lost Canyon Specific Plan is part of the overall Whiteface Specific Plan. The Whiteface Specific Plan is comprised of both Big Sky, which is located in the Sand Canyon area, as shown on this exhibit here, and then Lost Canyons is outlined in green, and that's the focus. That's the area of focus for tonight. The project consists of the modification to the Master Plan Development Permit and an amended tentative map for the previously approved 364-unit Lost Canyons project. The modification would allow relocation of 32 lots from the northeast corner of the project site to just north of Lost Canyons Drive, west of Tapo Canyon Road, as well as minor adjustments to 46 additional lots located north of Lost Canyons Drive. The lot adjustments include minor dimensional changes and reconfiguration of the tract entryways in order to connect the eastern side of the tract to the western side of the tract. In total, 78 residential lots are proposed to be modified, as well as miscellaneous lettered lots in the subdivision that are non-buildable will be adjusted to reflect the site redesign. The purpose of the modification is to preserve a large area of open space and centralize infrastructure to the middle of the development area. These changes will also reduce development costs and create more open space. The Master Plan Development Permit modification and tentative map will allow the relocation of 32 lots shown in purple and the minor adjustment of 46 lots outlined in red. The area circled in red is the area where the 32 lots approved in the northeast corner of the specific plan area outlined in the red hatch will be relocated to. The proposed location of the 32 lots is shown in blue. It's bluey purple. The 32 relocated lots shown here in blue will be placed in an area that is approved to be graded as part of the widening of Lost Canyons Drive. Relocating the lots in this area will cluster development in an area where the 2020 cluster development permit previously approved residential development and will centralize the infrastructure improvements. The area where the 32 homes were previously approved will remain undeveloped. In addition to relocating lots to this area, the previously approved lots shown in red will be adjusted for both lot dimensions and lot area to allow for better site plan development for each home site and to maintain the minimum lot size of a third of an acre for 80% of the homes as is required by the specific plan. The relocated lots will require entry, street, and lot adjustments on the portion of the site just to the west in the area circled in red. Adjustments in this location will include a new entry alignment and extension of an improved roadway to connect the eastern portion of the site containing the relocated 32 lots to the west side. In addition to the roadway alignments, 10 lots will be adjusted as shown in red. The original entry design to the development had 2 secured entry points, one to access the eastern portion of the site and one to access the western portion of the site. The entry realignment will result in having one centralized entry point with an interior site road connecting the east and west sides of the development. To accommodate the entry and roadway design, 10 lots will be relocated in the same area as originally approved. The proposed minor lot relocation and reconfiguration, as well as the roadway and entry changes, are allowed by the specific plan to occur with a plan development permit modification, and a specific plan amendment is not required for the changes proposed tonight. The underlying zoning of the lots in both the approved and proposed locations will be in the residential low zone. The transfer of lots will not alter the density allowed in the zone, and the lot sizes and widths are consistent with the specific plan. The plan development permit modification also includes modifications to the Lost Canyons Master Program Book. The revisions are updates for the 32-lot relocation to ensure the maps and exhibits accurately reflect the proposed changes to the project. Some of these changes include changes to the entry location, updates to the fuel modification plan, and updates to the community landscaping. Project phasing has also been modified. The original approval was for development to occur in 5 phases, and this modification will combine the 32 relocated lots with the 184 lots developed with the 2020 cluster development permit into Phase 1. Future development south of Los Canyons Drive will occur in Phases 2, 3, and 4. The California Environmental Quality Act Guidelines, Section 15183, allows for a streamlined environmental review process for projects consistent with development density established by existing zoning, community plan, or general plan, which has a certified EIR. The project is eligible for this exemption because the density of the development remains consistent with the approved Los Canyons specific plan, which has a certified EIR. A detailed environmental checklist was prepared to analyze the proposed modifications, and the checklist determined the modification is consistent with the approved specific plan in EIR, and there are no site-specific or cumulative impacts that were not addressed in the previous EIR. And staff recommends the Planning Commission adopt a resolution to approve Plan Development Permit Modification PD-S-2024-0001 and tentative map TT-2024-0001, and a determination the project is categorically exempt from CEQA. And this concludes staff's presentation, and we are available for questions.
Do any commissioners have any questions of staff at this time? Okay. I will now open the public testimony portion of this hearing. Would the applicant like to present the project?
Thank you, Commissioners. My name is Rick Nelson, and I'm with Newport Pacific Land Company. Appreciate the opportunity here tonight to review what our request is and explain some of the reasons why we're wanting to amend the tentative map and do the modification to the master PD. Elizabeth, could you go to the next slide, please? For those of you who aren't familiar, just a brief history on the project. Los Canyons project was approved in 2013 for 364 single-family homes in multiple phases, as staff mentioned. At that time, there was an 18-hole golf course that was in operation on Clubhouse. The development is in 4 different areas: Dry Canyon, Tapple Canyon South, Tapple Canyon North, and in addition, a portion around the golf course. The final map for Phase 1, which staff mentioned, was for 184 lots, and this is all north of Los Canyons Drive, was for the Club Core and North Tapple Canyon. And that was approved in June 2022. And in 2016, the clubhouse terminated its operations because lack of demand and weren't able to support the operations. Yeah, next slide. And as staff pointed out, there's 4 development phases. This is Dry Canyon here. You see here, this is Tapple Canyon South here. This is what was referred to as the Club Core. And these are the 32 lots that we're proposing be relocated down in this area in here. Next slide. So our request is relocate the 32 lots from the northeast corner of the project site to the southeast corner just of Los Canyons Drive, and to realign 46 lots that are associated with track map 5734-1. And staff mentioned the purpose of this is to centralize the development north of Los Canyons Drive, eliminate some of the infrastructure that wasn't serving a lot of lots, and to get it clustered around one area for make a more efficient development. Next slide. So this is the area, I think, in the red cross-hatched area where the 32 lots are. And this is the area you'll see in the next slide where we're proposing to move those 32 lots. That's fine. So shown in here blue are the 32 lots, and these are all the residential low, just like they were up here, as all the rest of the lots you see in green here. These are all the residential low. What's also shown here is the 46 lots that we're proposing to realign or relocate. These lots originally were oriented not parallel to the street. They were cocked at a slight angle. And that was done to take advantage of the views of the golf course, but it made it problematic to have them aligned that way. So we just slightly turned those lots. We also made them, the lot dimensions a little more uniform. These are all approximately 90-foot wide lots, and they were varying anywhere from 85 to 95. We just tried to regularize this width of the lots. And then as staff pointed out here, we made a minor adjustment here. One was to realign the east road with the west road that you see here. The project entry was somewhat of a convoluted project entry, so we realigned that, and that resulted in these lots that you see here in green are the relocated lots or adjusted lots. So this still shows in total 184 lots, not any different than the current, the final map that was approved. The benefits eliminates 30 acres of disturbance where the housing was previously approved. As we said, the total unit count still remains at 364, the 184 that's north of Lost Canyons Drive, and the 180 that are south, both in Dry Canyon and Tapple Canyon South. Staff indicated we're working within the current approval for the project and the specific plan. There's no zoning change, no general plan amendment needed. We think it's a more sustainable plan with more efficient use of public resources, both police, fire, and water. As I mentioned, it's more efficient and economically feasible plan that will allow us to provide housing, and it eliminates housing in an environmentally sensitive area. So in conclusion, our request is to modify the tentative track map and the plan development permit, relocate the 32 lots to a centrally located area north of Lost Canyons Drive, realign the 46 lots that were associated with track map 5734-1, working within the current approvals and the specific plan. There's no change to the unit count or density, reduces disturbance to a large portion of the property, less environmental impacts, and more efficient, sustainable plan. So that concludes my presentation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that the commissioners may have.
Anybody have any questions of the applicant? By all means, please.
I had to watch the previous meetings because I wasn't there, and I feel, I just have one question. Are those estate lots, in my opinion, when I reviewed the previous project proposal, there were estate lots that were located north. Are those lots being moved down to where the blue area is?
Yeah, those will still be estate lots. So the size of those lots that you were referring to in the northeast corner, which was up in this area here, are the same lot sizes that you see down here.
Yeah, that would be my question. Thank you.
And just a little more color on it, there's, I think 80% of them have to be a third acre, at least a third acre, and that complies with that requirement under the specific plan.
Thank you so much.
No other questions? Do you have, I see that I have a card from Jim Boyd, also listed as the applicant. Do you have anything that you want to add? Do you have, well, timer stopped, but that's okay. You have time if you want to add anything else, Mr. Boyd. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Is there anybody in the chamber wishing to be heard on this matter? The two cards from the applicants. Okay. Any comments from staff regarding statements made during the public hearing or on behalf of the applicant?
No, Chairman, no comments at this time.
Okay. The applicant obviously doesn't need to respond to any couple of comments. If there's no further questions, nobody else wants to speak, I'm going to close the public testimony part of the hearing. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Can you come up to the podium, please? People on TV want to see and hear you. And if you could, just give us your name now. You can fill out a comment card afterwards.
Will do. My name is Mayan Spaccarelli. I live right across the street from the development. And I know at the other meeting, they talked about when they abandoned those 32 house lots over there. Is that going to be designated open space for the future, as talked about in the last meeting?
Yes, with this change, this northern portion of the site where those 32 lots were located,
Yeah.
that will become open space.
Like permanently, like,
It'll be incorporated into the project conditions and part of the conservation paperwork that the applicant has to fill out.
and then the development that they're talking about, that area where the blue is, that's a massive hill right there. Is that whole hill going to be taken down?
Right, that hill will be graded. It's approved to be graded as part of the Lost Canyons Drive roadway expansion. So they're taking advantage of that already graded land
Got
to
it.
place the homes there.
Okay, that was my only questions.
Thank you very much. If you could fill out a comment card, and I don't know, they're over there on the table, just so we can keep record of it. Thank you. Thank you for the assist with the hand. Do we have anybody else in the chamber that wishes to be heard? Do we have any other questions before I close public comment? Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and close the public comment. Commissioners, any questions? I
don't have any questions. I have comments, but
Okay,
I don't have any questions. Anybody have questions?
questions or comments? Go ahead.
Okay, well,
Commissioner Rice.
okay, so I appreciated what the applicant said when he said a more efficient use of public resources, because really this is. I like the fact that that's 30 more acres of open space. And especially up there on Bennett Road, by Bennett Road, because, all the trucks and everything up there, and I think that'll be a benefit to the gentleman right there and the people who live up in that area up there, because I know that was an issue at one of the earlier meetings. More open space, and so that's moving these homes closer together. I think actually works out well. It doesn't make them any smaller. So, and it just makes this whole project more efficient. So I think that's a good thing. So that's the only comment I have. So.
Thank you. Commissioner Mayor?
I have a comment too. I actually, we're not discussing this right now, but I actually reviewed the previous meetings and I really like the elevations and design. It's refreshing for CME. And I agree with you on the open space. I do have one more comment.
Please.
That I know there was some talk before when I was reviewing the meetings with the cemetery board and giving away some of the open space. And I hope in one of the next phases that you will reach out and communicate with them on that. And that's all I have.
Commissioners? Commissioner Tolson?
There we go. I think this is a efficient use of resources. Leaving that open space is great. And I think it's no different than the project that was previously approved. So I'm 100% behind it.
Okay. Commissioner Kennedy, last chance? Okay. I'm not going to go ahead and restate the obvious. I think that the plan works out well. It stays within the conforming use that we've already approved. It's certainly much more efficient, and anytime we can get more acreage for open space, all the better. So with that said, may I please have a reading of the resolution?
Resolution number SVPC 06-2024. A resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Simi Valley approving a plan development permit modification PD-S-2024-0002 and tentative map TT-2024-0001 in order to relocate and modify 78 approved house lots in the Whiteface Specific Plan, Volume 2, Dry and Tapo Canyons, Lost Canyons, and a determination that the project is categorically exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act.
The chair will now entertain a motion.
Go ahead.
I move to adopt a resolution approving PD-S-2024-0002 and TT-2024-0001.
Motion was made by Vice Chair Mayor. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner Tolson. Call for the vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
let's see, the appeal period for a plan development permit is 14 calendar days, and the appeal period for a tentative map is 10 calendar days. Proceed to the next item. We have no next item. We have no other new business in public hearings. Oral communications and reports.
Yes, Chairman Mann, members of the Planning Commission, our next Planning Commission meeting is scheduled for August 7th, and we have two public hearings tentatively set for that hearing date.
Do any commissioners have anything to report? Mobile Home Rent Mediation Board,
No items tonight.
Tree Advisory Board.
No items tonight.
This concludes the meeting of July 24th, 2024. The next scheduled meeting is August 7th, 2024. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for attending.